Hello, everyone. My name is Erin Turner, and I'm the Director of Credentialing at the Society of American Foresters. Today, I'm speaking with John Snow about SAF's Certified Urban and Community Forester Program, or the CUCF as we like to call it. John is a respected urban forester out of Florida, and again, today we're speaking about the CUCF program, which SAF developed in 2023 based on a certification we acquired from the California Urban Forestry Council. So with that, welcome, John. Thank you for joining us. Would you mind just telling everyone, I'm sure many people know you, but just telling everyone a little bit about yourself and your background in urban forestry?
Hey, thank you so much, Erin, for having me here today to talk about the Certified Urban Community Forester credential. Really appreciate you having me. Again, my name is John Snow. I am a board certified master arborist. I own and operate Tree Checkup, which is a arboriculture and urban forestry consulting firm based here in Florida. I'm also president for the Florida Urban Forestry Council. You mentioned the California Urban Forestry Council, and just want to give the Florida Urban Forestry Council a shout out as well. Two great, fantastic programs. I've been doing this for about 33 years, and I work with developers, municipalities, homeowners, a lot of different individuals doing various things revolving around urban forestry.
That's awesome, John. And I know your home base is Florida, but you kind of work in the general southeast region, don't you, of the United States?
Yeah, we do. We do. My team is actually working up in Atlanta as we speak.
Oh, okay.
And so we work kind of throughout the Southeast, primarily Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina.
Okay, great. Well, I enjoy following you on LinkedIn and getting your tips and advice and all the information you put out there. So again, just a pleasure to have you. And with that, I'm just kind of interested in getting some of your perspectives. And I guess the first question I would ask is, in your eyes, what do you see that separates someone who just knows trees to someone who actually really understands urban forestry?
Wow, that's a really great question. How much time do we have here today?
Take
Hopefully
your
you got a
time.
couple minutes.
Right. I won't cut you off too soon.
How does somebody that just knows trees from somebody that understands urban forestry? And I think that that's an important distinction. There's a big difference between urban forestry and arboriculture, but both of them really do collide. And I think that when what you need to think about is it's more than just understanding the abiotic problems or biotic problems that an individual tree is having or whatever. We're not talking about individual trees. We're really talking about the urban forest, which is the collection of trees in our urban spaces. And that could be literally downtown, like your background here, all the way out into the rural settings, like where I live. I consider that still part of the urban forest. Part of that really goes to, when we talk about the urban forest, we need to be thinking about three different things. We have our gray infrastructure, which are buildings, street lights, the utilities, all those kind of things, those hard features that as humans, we put in there. Then we also have our blue infrastructure, our stormwater, our ponds, and things like that. And then we have that green infrastructure. Those include things, like grasses and shrubs and trees. That's right. I don't want to forget, trees are part of that green infrastructure, right, Aaron?
I believe so, yes.
So
I think you might know a thing or two about that.
I might know a couple things about
Right.
But the important point here is we need to be thinking about that urban forest as part of our collective ecosystem because all three of these components and others really interact and affect that urban forest. And so when we talk about urban forestry, it's kind of understanding the bigger picture of things as well as being able to look at those small things. Well, this is what's affecting this particular individual tree. Does that help answer your question?
It does. That makes a lot of sense, and I really appreciate your professional insight on that because that's something I think a lot of people as a consumer don't think about too. So that really adds to the big picture of it all. So
Absolutely.
I would ask along that line too, though, for those who might have a similar licensing or a similar certification, how do you see those working with the CUCF credential?
Wow, that's another pretty strong question. I don't know if I quite have the answer for that, Aaron, but I'll try. I'll give a stab at it. You know, I think that the CUCF um, helps people really differentiate themselves in the marketplace. Employers are looking for people that, obviously have a certain level of experience, knowledge, and when you're able to demonstrate that by having a credential like the CUCF, it really helps separate you from everybody else out there. I think that that's the real key. And I do believe that the CUCF really helps kind of complement other credentials as well. For me, I'm a board certified master arborist, and that's, as you know, is really kind of the pinnacle within the
Absolutely.
ISA realm. And that's a great credential. And so you say, well, why would John go out and get the CUCF if he's a board certified master arborist? Well, I think it's very simple. It gives me a, it helps me differentiate myself and my business from other board certified master arborists. Does
Right.
that make some sense? And
Sure.
then along with that, I think it's also important because it really demonstrates, I'm not just locked into one organization.
Mhm.
I'm locked into multiple organizations and have credentials from multiple organizations. For example, I'm involved with SAF, clearly, the ISA, and also the American Society of Consulting Arborists, ASCA. So I actually hold credentials and qualifications from all three of those different organizations. Again, it helps distinguish who I am, what I do, what my business does to potential clients and individuals that are making decisions.
Well, that's, I will say, very impressive too, that you have all of those qualifications. So I see what you're saying, that that really does add to the credibility of what you have. I don't know if you're aware. I know you're coming up on your recertification cycle for your CUCF next year, being actually our first earner of the CUCF. So that will be coming up in about a year, but we do at SAF, we take ISA CEUs one for one. So what that means is as you're going out and taking courses and attending ISA events, you send us that information and we'll credit it to your CUCF recertification as well, as long as it's in the same period of your renewal cycle. So this way you don't have to double up on what you're learning, have that extra expense of trying to figure out which events you can attend to get these credits for. And plus time, right? That takes a lot of time if you're going to have to do this. And it allows you to kind of hone in on your area where you want to see growth in your field versus us telling you specifically where you should be growing. So I think that's a real benefit to be able to have that to complement what you might have from another organization as well.
That's awesome, Aaron. So you're telling me I don't have to retake the test?
No, not unless I can make that happen if you really want to.
No, please don't.
I've only in my years of the credentialing world, I've only had a few people call me and ask to retake the test for their earning their recertification. That doesn't happen very often for some reason.
Well, and I mean, I think people, if you're going to pursue the CUCF or really any credential, you need to be prepared to invest in the continuing education as well. I think that that's a pretty important component of it because just because you got the credential, um, look at it this way. I'll give you, a corollary to that. If you go to your doctor and maybe he got his doctor license, whatever that is, his certification to be a doctor 25 years ago, um, I would hope he's current with the latest and greatest, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. And you're speaking my language. I'm a self-proclaimed certification nerd, and I think that's one of the greatest values, that you do continue to keep up with your relevancy and latest trends and what is going on in the industry. So that is incredibly valuable. It's completely different from a certificate program where, you're one and done type of deal. This you've really got to keep up with to make sure that you know what you're talking about and you're supporting your stakeholders in a very informed way. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
I agree completely.
So you touched on it a little bit, John, just how the CUCF has really helped you have some greater leverage and just really make a greater impact in your industry. Do you have any other information you could provide about that? Just what it's done for you as a professional? If not, I'm not putting you on the spot, but I am. So,
No pressure, John. No pressure.
right.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
You know, I'll give you an example. Like in my business, Tree Checkup, my title is Senior Urban and Community Forester. And I chose that very specifically because, one, I was the first person to get the CUCF, which I'm pretty proud of. But beyond that, I think it really speaks to people when you say urban and community forester. And, for my business, when I say senior urban and community forester, it's like, whoa, okay. As opposed to master arborist, you know, it's not that one credential is better than the other. I just, in my case, I feel like the CUCF adds another dimension that really benefits things and helps really kind of clarify to people more what I focus on.
That it makes a lot of sense. I can see that that's just an additional way to show your level of expertise and where you're at. So,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you are aware, the Certification Review Board, they're the governing body that they are all professional foresters. We have some that have earned their CUCF, others that have earned their certified forester. But they oversee all of SAF certification programs. They recently updated the eligibility requirements for the program. And they really wanted to do this just looking, we have such a strong exam that really tests those levels of competency. They wanted to have people to have the opportunity to open it up though to additional pathways to actually access the examination. Have you heard those, or would you like me to share some of the new pathways with you?
I've heard a little bit about it, but I think, it would be valuable for anybody listening in today to really hear a little bit more about the different pathways, because that was actually one of the reasons why I originally got involved with the CUCF, is because it wasn't just, a one linear path.
Yeah. So we tried to make it easier, but it starts with either a related bachelor's degree or higher. And people can access that with 4 years of work experience. I will say that all of our pathways that I'm going to mention, we also take a year off of the required experience if the person has a related certification or if they have a license that's related, pest control applications, something of that sort. Um, so the pathway two would be a related associate's degree. And we require 5 years of experience and again, take a year off of the qualifications with those related licenses or certifications. And then we additionally have options for those who might have an unrelated degree because we found so many people come into, as you well know, urban and community forestry through just these untraditional pathways. They just kind of find themselves really finding that passion and drive to be in urban forestry. So they might have a business management degree or something that is completely unrelated. So we
Yeah,
want to give those people the opportunity and also give people an opportunity who haven't taken that traditional pathway and have really learned their experience and grown through on the job training and they may not have a degree. So opening that up and really validating that level of experience. We offer 6 years of experience with another year taken off to make it 5 years if they have a related certification or license. Um, so those are the main pathways for our CUCF designation. We also have a candidate designation, which a lot of people aren't as familiar with, John. I don't know if how familiar you are with it or
a
just
little bit, but tell us a little bit about that, because I think
yeah, I
that's important.
absolutely. So candidates are just another avenue to access this designation while the person is working up to the full designation. So somebody who may have just entered urban forestry, and it's a way to give them another acronym to put after their name. So they have their own, they can put on their business card or on their truck or just wherever they find that it would be useful to them. And that would be we put a C in front of the certified urban and community forester and make it the candidate urban certified urban and community forester. And with that, they can access, if they have the related degree, they can access this with no other work experience. So they can just come in, apply, and access it. If they are someone that has either an unrelated degree or they have a high school diploma, then they can access this with, if they've also attended one of SAF's programs, we have high school programs and different workforce programs that we are um, approving for access to different certifications. And they can access this with just 3 months of attestation from either an instructor or from their current boss, something like that. And they can access the designation with that. And then we have, for those who may not have any other certification or they have not been through one of our programs, they are required to just have 6 months of attestation from a supervisor. And all of those link to our exam domains and knowledge areas. And we just want to have a supervisor or a reference show that they performed duties that align with the exam domains and knowledge areas. Um, Again, they perform them competently and effectively for at least 6 months to really open that up.
Wow. That's really fantastic. So let me just kind of review that, because you just put out a lot of information there,
Yes, I
and
did.
I might be a little confused. I just want to make sure I'm clear. So there's two programs, the CUCF and the CCUCF.
Yes, you got
Okay.
it.
One is the candidate program and one is the full certified program. And what I'm hearing here, and correct me if I'm wrong, is basically you can get in with zero experience as a candidate and then work your way up once you obtain the requisite amount of, years of experience, then you can sit for the CUCF. Is that what I heard there?
That is basically it, John. I would say we give everyone from when they earn the designation of CCUCF, just like we give everyone who applies for the CUCF, we give them a year to take the exam.
Sure.
So they will take the exam within the year. And we've really found that to be easier for people because once they get more specialized and things like that, it makes taking that examination all the much harder. So we like to open it up within a year and ask them to take it. But yes, from there, once they have that work experience, they contact us with their resume and they can level up to the full designation if they pass the exam.
And that's fantastic, because I think ultimately people need a pathway. And I'm really excited to see SAF really embrace, career pathways. It's so vitally important in our industry because, like you said, there's a lot of people that maybe have gone a non-traditional route, or for whatever reason they ended up in urban forestry. And this, y- you know, some of the other programs out there could be a little challenging to get into. And this provides that pathway for people to be able to do that. I think that that's really, really critical, and I commend you guys for putting that together because it's important.
Thank you, John. We appreciate hearing that. I'm going to ask you one more question. I've taken a lot of your time today, and I'll try not to make the question too hard, but I have a habit of putting people on the spot. So,
Oh, oh.
so I would just ask what advice you would give if anyone who is watching this, how do they know that applying for the CUCF program would be a good choice for them and something they should do?
Again, I think that really kind of goes back to, where somebody's at in their career and how they want to move forward and distinguishing themselves. Getting the CUCF is not going to hurt you. Yes, there's a time commitment. Yes, there's an education commitment. Yes, there's a continuing education commitment. But at the end of the day, it's only going to enhance what you're going to be able to provide your clients or your employer. And it's becomes one of those easy ways to help distinguish you from everybody else out there, and y- I just think that that's so valuable to be able to distinguish yourself out there from everybody else. Does that answer your question?
Yes, and I think that's really great advice. And in fact, right now is a great time to apply to. We've updated the exam a little bit, and we are offering a special from April 1 through August 31st, those who apply and test between those dates, you can go to our website and you'll see we're offering some really good promotions because we're looking for people to really kind of help us out to set what that new standard for the exam is because we're continuing to try and improve as we go along too, so we can help professionals in their pathway. But so yeah, it's a great time to apply, and I just really appreciate your expert insight on all of this. And just thank you again for your time today. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, John.
Well, thank you, Aaron. I appreciate you reaching out to me and having a chance to talk a little bit about the CUCF and how I think that it can really benefit everybody. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, I'll talk to you more soon.